WrestleMania 41, Seth Rollins took on CM Punk and Roman Reigns, with the match reaching a shocking conclusion where Paul Heyman betrayed both CM Punk and Roman Reigns, aligning himself with Seth Rollins to begin a new era of WWE, and months later their partnership has multiplied into a whole faction that has led to absolutely nowhere at all so far. Well, hello everyone, my name is Nando. For today's video, I'm here to dive in and take a look at... What? What are you looking at? What's up? Story time. A few weeks ago, my hair had reached an abysmal hairstyle level, so I was advised to get a haircut. So I went to the barber. I asked to get this haircut, and I showed him full photographic memory of what it was, and he was like, yes, sure, yes, I can. And then he, gave me this. Does it look the same? So for today's video, we're going to look at Seth Rollins' faction known as the Oracle, or the Vision, or Seth Rollins and Friends, or Seth and the Bronze. I don't know, this group has barely put in effort in putting on a new established name for them. Now for this video, I'm just here to take a dive and dissect for what I believe is WWE's most illogical storytelling in the Triple H era right now. Now keep a note, this is no hate video, this is me pointing out the many flaws about this group that has kept me disinterested in Seth's group right now. So let's cut the yap and let's just remember on how we got here. So for many years it's been known about CM Punk and Seth Rollins' real life heat with each other. Well, I say it's heat between each other, it's really just been Seth Rollins taking shots at CM Punk while Punk is just, well, he never cared enough to respond back to him.
The funny thing is, for me, for a guy telling me that I need to look for relevancy, here's someone who's been, you know, in the doldrums for the last few years because he got his butt kicked in the octagon so bad he didn't want to show his face anywhere. Say whatever you want. Play it however you want. That's what Punk always does. But at the end of the day, if he wants to come on a show and run his mouth about me and about a company that he has no part of for the last 5 years, then of course I'm going to stand up for us. This is a place that has given me everything that I've ever wanted in my life.
Would you like to see Phil Brooks back at WWE?
Oh, Philly Phil, stay away. Stay away, you cancer. Get away from me forever.
Wow.
Yeah, no, I don't like Phil. I don't like Phil. He's a jerk. Oh, did we just figure that out? Did we just figure that out? I don't want him back. Go do something else. Bye-bye. Bye-bye. See you later.
Yeah, you're right, Seth. Hope that guy never shows up in a WWE ring again.
Guess who's back? Back again.
Oh dear. So CM Punk returns to WWE after nearly 10 long years, coming back to finish his career properly and repair the bridges that were burnt between him and the company. This brought out Seth Rollins, who had no belief in all of this, defending that WWE will be his company, not Punk's, and he could easily run circles around him. So Punk had his first match back in WWE with the 2024 Royal Rumble, and then immediately he got injured, which was really unfortunate for Punk because it's his first match back and now he's just stuck having to be benched, which costed a big WrestleMania match that was planned reportedly to have him face Seth Rollins for the world title. But fast forward to June 17, 2024, Seth Rollins made a surprise return after taking care of his many injuries, confronting the now world champion Damian Priest and challenging him to a match, to which Damian accepted, but with the added stipulation that if Seth Rollins loses, he can no longer challenge for the world champion for as long as Damian is champion. So at Money in the Bank they faced off, but the match gets stopped by Drew McIntyre, who cashed in his Money in the Bank on the same night he won it, which transitioned the match into a triple threat match. But since Punk was in a heated feud with Drew McIntyre, Punk had costed Drew the match, helping Damian retain without even realizing what he had costed Seth. But nothing would ever come with it, as Seth Rollins had to get rid of TV as he had other injuries to sort out again. So WWE had Bronson Reed kill him off. But once Seth came back, the main focus was now on Punk, and it led to them facing off on the first episode of Raw on Netflix, to which Punk had won. Then at the 2025 Royal Rumble, both Roman, Seth, and Punk entered in and left with such added drama, with Punk eliminating both Seth and Roman, and then Logan would eliminate Punk, which, seriously, what is wrong with you, WWE? Roman was angry at Punk for eliminating him, but then Seth got in the face of both men, stopping Roman not once, but twice. Christ, this man wanted Roman dead. Then in Elimination Chamber 2025, after Punk eliminated Seth Rollins, Seth had stopped Punk of his chances of facing Cody Rhodes at WrestleMania, leaving Punk to lose to Cena.
Rollins looking on!
And at I think we should all universally forget what the hell happened after this win. Just watch that video if you ever want an explanation as to why this sucked too. But this loss led towards Punk and Rollins' second match together, but this time it was under a steel cage match, to which Seth won due to Roman Reigns returning and dragging Seth out of the cage and beating him up for good measure. Roman was about to leave, but then witnessed his wife Paul Heyman checking up on Punk and was like, oh, the big dog never forgets! So this all leads towards a triple threat feud between Seth, Punk, and Roman, a feud that can easily be described as, well, which husband does Paul Heyman want to stick with the most? With Paul being Roman's wise man and Punk being one of Paul Heyman's proteges since the mid-2000s. And this feud leveled up even more drama as Punk was owed a favor from Paul Heyman for helping Paul's team beat the Bloodline from Timu. And this favor that was built up for many months on TV just revealed itself to be Punk wanting Paul Heyman in his corner for the Mania match. Which, saying out loud, sounds like a dumb favor. Like, if you want Paul beside you for your entrance, sure, but having him in your corner of your match, just, what does it add? Paul Heyman literally doesn't interfere nor do anything in the corner but just overly react to all the spots that happen in the match. Could have just asked for a world title shot, but just, you do you. So the match happens, and I will say this triple threat match was awesome, and understandably so. You have three great wrestlers, so of course they're going to have a great match within each other. Only thing that destroyed the match's quality was the ending. Just let me explain. So during the ending of the match, Paul Heyman would bring out a chair, being indecisive of who he was going to give the chair to either Roman or Punk, before reluctantly giving the chair to Punk. Okay, Paul has made his decision. He has made his choice to stick with Punk indefinitely. Okay, now it's time for Punk to just get his receipt on Roman Reigns, and then, Paul Heyman gets in the ring with him? Huh? What? Okay, no, big red flag, people, big red flag. That spot that Paul just did right now spoiled the entire moment for me. Why? Because let me ask you this, when have you ever seen Paul Heyman physically interfere in a match where he's in the ring? Exactly, because you haven't. Because that's not what he does. Paul is a support character. He never interferes in matches. He just watches along the matches. You want to know the last time Paul Heyman physically got himself in the ring during a match? It was Money in the Bank 2013. You know what he did there? He betrayed Punk! The sign should have been there, man! So yeah, I was not surprised one bit when Paul Heyman betrayed Punk, but I was fine with it because his heart will always stay with the tribal chief. But then Paul stayed in the ring, making it a billion times more obvious that he was going to betray Roman too. This was so badly choreographed, and I feel like there was such better ways to betray his boys than whatever you call this. So Seth Rollins wins and has become a Paul Heyman guy. Paul Heyman explained on the Pat McAfee show that he dropped both Punk and Roman because he felt like both men were just using him. With the many years of abuse that he went through with Roman, and feeling as though that Punk had used Paul as an emotional tool to get in Roman's head. Which, you know, he's got a big point. I just wish he found the courage to explain this on TV because he never actually does so. Then on the Raw after Mania, Seth and Paul came out to make a promo, but both Punk and Roman tried to stop him. With Seth managing to take Punk out on his own, Roman gave Seth and Paul some struggle, but when things seemed dire, Bron Breakker came out to spear Roman Reigns, ending the show with him officially joining Seth's group. Which makes sense. Paul Heyman invested a lot of interest in Bron, especially during NXT where they had a segment together, so this is something that I can actually get behind. So this all leads towards a tag match where Seth and Bron took on Sami Zayn and CM Punk, and the match ends with Bronson Reed coming out to drop Punk, which distracted Sami enough to get hit with the spear for the 3, which had Bronson Reed join Seth's faction. Okay, that's cool. That seems like a pretty tight team to have. You got your main star in Seth, Paul Heyman as your manager, and your two big future stars in Bron and Bronson. Like, seriously, I can see no issue with this at all. Just one more thing. Just remind me, folks. What was Bronson and Seth's relationship like before this? Oh. Okay. Yeah, And that doesn't make any sense. And you want to know what's worse about it? Their explanation for it! So both Paul and Nando Bronson Reed try to play the story acknowledging the gazillion tsunamis that Bronson gave to Seth Rollins, stating that Bronson hurt Seth so bad it actually helped build respect for one another, which feels like a stretch, but I can see it as one competitor admiring the other for how good they are. I'd accept that, but that quote immediately gets diminished when Paul Heyman already ruined the reasoning a month ago, because Paul Heyman described that Bronson Tsunamis was much worse than the many years of Seth's physical and personal beatings from Roman Reigns and CM Punk. So then I asked, for a guy that is described that has done more damage than the two guys that Seth mainly hates on the roster, why would he respect him? Seth is a guy that loves to hold grudges, so why would Seth not hold a grudge for a guy that was intending to kill him? That's just bad storytelling, people. So anyways, at Money in the Bank, Seth Rollins had won the Money in the Bank briefcase, which transitioned Seth into a program with LA Knight, with the match ending in an unfortunate moment as Seth Rollins was seen to be injured, which led LA Knight to beating him. Seth Rollins was announced to be injured and had to take time off, but was still allowed to hold the briefcase. But with Seth out of the picture, it allowed a new spark and drawer to come in Bron Breakker, as he started to feel like he needed to step up in the group in replace of Seth. He was the one taking demands in the group. He was the one showing his leadership and feeling like nothing could ever stop him. Now just hold that storyline thought, so I can explain why it means nothing later. So Bron entered himself into a gauntlet match on Raw, with the winner getting opportunity to face Gunther at SummerSlam. Bron demolished 98% of the competition, but his body was too beaten down to take Punk out, leaving Punk to face Gunther. So at SummerSlam, CM Punk would defeat Gunther to become the World Champion. This was CM Punk's first World Champion in over 13 years. Shush, they don't want you to know that. This is the dream that Punk could live with again. He was in tears. He was left with such joy and pride. Seriously, what could honestly go wrong? Damn it! So Seth Rollins revealed that he was never injured at all, coming out to dismantle, cash in, and dethrone CM Punk off the World Champion. And fun fact, Drew McIntyre's World title reign from WrestleMania 40 lasted 36 seconds longer than Punk's did, which... that's just funny karma. But either way, the reveal and the cash-in was fantastic and well put together. But you want to know what wasn't? The explanation! So Seth Rollins came to Raw to reveal that his injury angle was all a ruse to help lower the roster's going down to prevent him from cashing in his briefcase, which, you know, is a fair enough reason. But then he revealed that he'd only told about his plan to two people, that being Becky Lynch and Paul Heyman. The two people make sense, but it makes you question, why didn't he tell his own boys about his plan? Because they were definitely creating the story of Bron being this hothead who did what he felt like was needed to be done, and he was believing that he had to lead the group on his own. But Bron just never confronted Seth about lying to him about this issue for 2 weeks, so just... feels like we just wasted time. He just kept quiet and acted like everything was fine. Same for Seth, who just didn't see an issue with Bron trying to take control of his group around. There's like no vital connection with this group whatsoever. But since Seth's will tolerate, it's led to him clashing with LA Knight, Jey Uso, and CM Punk. So it was made official that Seth was defending his World Champion against those three at Clash in Paris. But before the main event, Bron Breakker and Bronson Reed brutalized Roman Reigns after his match with Bronson Reed to outright Roman for the foreseeable future, and that costed Bron and Bronson to be banned from the building, preventing them from ever helping Seth in his match. But it was all not to worry, as while CM Punk was close to winning the World Champion, a Becky Lynch-shaped figure low-blowed Punk to reveal themselves to be Becky Lynch, helping Seth retain the champion and thus joining the Visionary. And now we're in the present day where Becky is now continuously bothering Punk from getting to Seth, which leaves Punk no choice but to bring in his wife AJ Lee to help create a mixed tag match for WrestlePalooza. So it's really the main capture that you really need to memorize about what's been happening with this group. So, what is the issue? Well, to sum it down, first off, this group has just no connection together. I'm still off about his connection to Bronson Reed because lol, like I mentioned, so why would Seth not hold a grudge for a guy that was intending to kill him? But it mainly goes down to the fact that Seth Rollins feels so out of place with his own group. He was a spokesperson for Brock Lesnar. Paul and Punk were together because their relationship started with Paul wanting to position Punk as WWE's next pet project since the mid-2000s. And Punk has even said that Paul Heyman was like his mentor. The beautiful story that came with Paul's connection with Roman Reigns and the whole Tribal Chief storyline, building an emotional and connective relationship that can be felt so real when you watch them on screen. But with Seth, you just feel nothing at all. Both men just feel like they're better off on their own, as Seth never really needed a manager to be beside him. Their style and characters are completely different, and you can see Paul have a way better connection to when he's left to manage Bron Breakker because he's been eyeing him since day one. And the biggest reason of all, we're just now 5 months in this group, and yet just nothing has developed with them because every week has been the exact same story with them. And if you think I'm hating and not proving a point, let's speed run to what they've been doing since day one. April 21st, Seth and Paul cut a promo to state that they're now on top of the show. Babyfaces come out to brawl, heels stand tall. April 28th, Seth and Paul cut a promo to state that they're on top. Sami interrupts them. Sami has a match with one of the heels win, heels stand tall. May 5th, and now this is new, Paul Heyman came out to manipulate Jey Uso to face Seth for the world title on Raw. Match ends no way, big brawl, babyfaces stand tall. Punk cuts a promo, the Vision Boys come out, they brawl, babyfaces stand tall. June 2nd, the Vision Boys face the babyfaces, match goes nowhere, big brawl, babyfaces stand tall. Are you getting the point now? It's just the same thing over and over again. They talk and they brawl all the time, and this is just going to continue on until we get to Survivor Series War Games season, which, let me remind you, is still 2 months away. War Games feuds always just felt like the worst to me because it's just built around the exact same storyline. The heel faction cut promos every week, they brawl with the big baby faces and do a mix-up of the same matches just to stretch up until War Games happens, and for some reason, Sami Zayn is there in every match. And more dreadful for the fact that this scene will involve another Seth and Punk encounter because these guys have been feuding since the dawn of time. It's only gotten interesting now because AJ Lee is back and Becky's a good performer, but honestly, I'd be more interested if AJ Lee and Becky just faced each other alone. Roman just lost his best man that was always by his side, but this feud can never register well because lol, he's got movies to do, so he just shows up and either stands tall or the Bron boys try to put him in a coma. Bronson Reed had a funny story of being the shoe father as he had a bit with stealing Roman Reigns' shoes, but sadly again, feud just didn't have any source because Roman was just never around because he was just doing movies. In short, on paper this really sounds like a great group to have, but Seth just has no real chemistry with any of his members. It'd be much better off if Seth just started being a power couple with Becky Lynch while Paul manages Bronson and Bron on his own because he matches much better there. And please, I beg, can Punch and Seth stop fighting? I'm tired now. Thank you guys so much for watching. If you enjoyed this video, leave a like, subscribe, and let's just try to get to 40 subs as we're only 3 subs away. Have a lovely one. Peace.